The Premier is gone.
Yes, the coward has already fled. The USSR is at death's door, comrade.
Which is why we must hurry. Sir, I beg you, please.
What is this? Some sort of escape route?
No, sir. 12 months ago, I was put in charge of a top-secret project.
Whatever it is too late.
With respect, General, you are wrong. Please. For you see, sir, time is on our side.
No, it isn't ready. It hasn't been tested. We don't even know if it works.
If what works?
My time machine.
Prepare these coordinates.
No, please.
Now!
Sir, no, please, no. Please, honey.
Get in!
All right.
You cannot be serious.
Come, Comrade General. A new world order awaits. Come!
No, touch nothing. We mustn't do anything to disrupt space-time continuum.
Where are we?
Brussels, 1927.
1927.
The Solvay International Physics Conference.
Is that Einstein?
Yes, Doctor. The man most responsible for our enemy's technological superiority. The man who made them invincible.
What do you plan to do?
Gentlemen?
Doctor!
I do not understand.
We have altered the past and changed the present.
Ah, good to see you, sir. I have the reports from the front that you requested.
Thank you. What do you have for me?
I'm sorry, Comrade General. I meant Premier Cherdenko. Sir, the Allies are on the run soon. Western Europe will be ours.
You hear that, General? Our enemies have been defeated.
Hold on, sir. I'm receiving an emergency transmission from our northern base.
They're attacking! There are too many! We have to evacuate!
Who is attacking?
The Imperial war machine has been unleashed. Do not struggle against what is inevitable. All who stand in the way of our divine destiny will be swept away by the march of history. You will bow before us, or you will cease to exist.
Sir, it appears that the Empire has mounted a full-scale assault.
What empire?
The Empire of the Rising Sun, of course.
We now have two mortal enemies?
We must unleash our nuclear weapons. Annihilate them all.
Excuse me, General?
Our nuclear weapons? Our atomic bombs?
Don't you understand? Without Einstein, there is no nuclear weapons because we have altered the space-time continuum. Oh, who knows what nightmares we have created.
Oi, welcome to Command & Conquer Red Alert 3. I'm an Allied Guardian tank, and these prats and I are here to tell you about how we think you should be doing your job. Sir.
Yes, We've temporarily called a truce to make sure you do not send us to our deaths needlessly. To begin with, we will tell you how to move your viewpoint around the battlefield and how to command your units, including the best ones, such as me, the Soviet hammer tank. Just look at this body compared with the teeny little Japanese tank to my left.
Shut up!
Ow!
Please excuse him, sir. Let us begin.
Oh, blimey. Right, okay. To move your camera around the battlefield, just hold down the right mouse button and slide your mouse around.
Try moving your camera now.
You may also move your cursor to the far edges of the screen.
Easy enough. Now, to rotate the camera, hold down the middle mouse button and move the mouse around.
Try rotating your camera now.
To zoom the camera in and out, simply slide your mouse wheel.
Try zooming your camera now.
As you go about fussing with the camera, sir, remember you can always click the middle mouse button to reset the viewing angle.
My goodness, Commander. You have completed your first objective.
Right proper you have. Objectives, as you might have surmised, are special goals you need to accomplish in order to progress through the campaigns.
In general, objectives will be labeled using special markers out on the battlefield. Follow the on-screen indicators to get to them.
If at any time you're not sure what the blazes you're supposed to be doing, hit the escape key to pay a visit to the mission menu. It'll list all your current objectives.
Good. Now that you have an idea for how to move around the battlefield, let's move on to controlling your units. Here come some of our hated enemies now.
Right, to select a unit, just left-click on it.
Try selecting one of these allied peacekeepers.
Nice! He's definitely one of ours, sir.
You may also hold down the left mouse button and drag your mouse. This will create a selection box. Any units inside the selection box will be selected. And if you want more units added to your selection, hold down the shift key and drag a selection box around those units. Okay, now that we've reminded you how to select units, you'll need to move them around the battlefield.
10-4
Ow!
I was getting to that. To move your units, whilst having them selected, click the right mouse button on any open terrain.
Try moving your units to the designated area up ahead.
En route. Securing building.
See? They obey you without question.
Notice, Commander, how the darkened area of the battlefield revealed itself as your forces drew near. This darkened area is the fog of war and represents parts of the battlefield that may be hiding enemy troop movements. Be careful when venturing into unseen areas, and use your scouts to survey the terrain before committing your forces. Now, up ahead are some dummy targets.
Peacekeepers are shotgun-wielding frontline infantry, who can knock enemy infantry to the ground whilst in close quarters. Their special ability is to switch to using a riot shield, which provides added defense whilst allowing them to close the distance with their foes.
That you are going to destroy. They resemble real-life Soviet conscripts, but I assure you they are merely robots we created for this exercise. See how foolishly they behave?
They seem so real. Observe that you can distinguish your forces from the robots based on the colored blips in the radar in the upper right corner of your battlefield control display. The color of the blips refers to the color of the different sides involved in a battle.
If you encounter different colored blips as you clear the fog of war, those are likely enemy forces, so be prepared.
Right. So, to issue an attack order to your units, whilst having them selected, put your cursor over a target and click the right mouse button.
Notice that as you move your mouse cursor over those dummies, it changes to an attack cursor.
Destroy all the target dummies in the area.
What's the situation? Standing by. Arm response. Who's next?
So long, you stupid robots.
Bloody robots! Now, in addition to issuing attack commands on specific targets, you can have your units move and attack any enemies along the way.
To issue an attack move command, while having your unit selected, just press the A key and right-click on any open terrain. You can issue attack move orders on the radar as well.
Now look there. We need you to lead us to that strategic point, yet many robots stand in the way. If you please, issue an attack move order to strategic point. You have the command. Lead us to victory!
Conscripts are the Union's mainline anti-infantry forces. They are not well trained, but can be effective in numbers. They carry assault rifles and can also switch to using Molotov cocktails, which are more effective against structures, including garrisons. Flak troopers are convicts forced to carry out their sentence by fighting with heavy weapons on the front lines. They are most effective against aircraft. They can switch to using magnetic mines that work well against vehicles. These mines will also detonate should the vehicle crush the flak trooper.
What can we do for you, sir?
Guardian tanks are armed with main guns that work well against most vehicles and structures. These tanks can even crush enemy infantry. The special ability is to switch to a targeting laser that reduces the armor of an enemy, making it more vulnerable to attack.
What do you say?
Hammer tanks are effective against most vehicles and structures. Further, they can crush infantry under their treads. Instead of using their main gun, they can switch to using the leech beam, which absorbs enemy armor. The beam can steal enemy weapons as well.
Cavalry!
Tsunami tanks are amphibious, fast-firing armored units that can quickly bring ruin to enemy bases and their military vehicles. Their special ability briefly provides a boost to their defensive strength, though they cannot fire in this state. They can still crush infantry under their treads, however.
Let's start something up. Hey, come here. Who's giving you problems?
This is it, boys. Now that's a fine job you did there, Commander. You now know how to move around the battlefield, as well as how to make your forces shoot their enemies dead.
Indeed. We suggest you move on to the next lesson on building a military base for further instruction on properly commanding an army.
See you there.
Good to have you, Commander. In this mission, we'll be reminding you all about constructing a base for each of the factions. We'll start with the Allies for obvious reasons. First things first, though. On the right side of the screen is the sidebar, which is where you manage all your base construction and unit production.
Here we have one of the hated Allied mobile construction vehicles. The MCV will unpack into a construction yard. To unpack it, select it. then click on its special ability button at the bottom right of your screen. Go on, don't be shy.
Observe the ghosted image of the construction yard attached to your cursor. Now left-click anywhere on open terrain to open your MCV to unpack at that location.
Very fancy, no?
Best remember to use the F hotkey as a shortcut to your unit's special abilities.
In general, special abilities are executed with the left mouse button, or cancelled with the right mouse button. However, the right mouse button is used for basic orders.
Bear in mind that there may be impassable areas of the map where you're not allowed to place down your structures. When you try to place a structure down over impassable or unbuildable terrain, red cells will appear on the build grid indicating that you're unable to place a structure there.
Now that your MCV has unpacked into a construction yard, you should have some new construction options available to you. To access your production structure's build queue, select the con yard, or click on the production tab that's flashing. Whoa, look at what we have here. Looks like you have access to build a power plant. Ow!
Don't overdo it. Commander, select the power plant button to begin building it. All allied structures build over time inside the construction yard. Once they're ready, you'll be able to place them on the battlefield right away. Your power plant is now ready to be placed. Simply left-click on its button and move your mouse over open terrain. Then left-click on an open spot on the terrain.
That's the way. As the name suggests, a power plant provides your base with power. All your structures, with the exception of your power plant and construction yard, use power. You can tell how much power you've got to spare by glancing at the power meter next to your radar. It's important to understand the consequences of a low power situation. While in low power, your units and structures will build at a reduced speed, and your base defenses won't work. So it's always good to have plenty of power as you build up.
The next thing you'll need to get base humming along is an ore refinery. This structure comes with a free prospector vehicle, which will collect ore from that nearby ore mine. To build your ore refinery, select the production tab and select the ore refinery button, just as you did with the power plant.
Bear in mind that a single ore refinery likely will not be enough to fund your military escapades. Try to build an ore refinery next to each ore mine near your base, but be careful to defend them.
Now that construction is complete, click the ore refinery button and consider where to place it on the battlefield. While you're able to place your refinery anywhere on open terrain, the optimal location is just in front of an ore mine. You'll see those spots ghosted on the terrain. As you move your cursor over those spots, your structure preview should snap to the optimal position. Then, just click to place your ore refinery, and you're set.
Aye, properly executed.
When you place your ore refinery, you get a prospector as part of the deal, and he'll go about collecting ore for you automatically. Pro tip, friend. If by some freak accident one of your prospectors or ore collectors is destroyed, you can always build another from your ore refineries. Just select the ore refinery and you'll see it can build another resource vehicle as its special ability. As long as your ore refinery is close to a mine, you only need one vehicle gathering from it. So don't waste credits making more of those little tykes than you need.
I always wonder, though, how come the mightiest nations in the world need to collect ore while killing each other? I mean, what is even in that stuff? Ow!
Don't ask ridiculous questions! Ore is the primary resource in Red Alert 3. Refineries automatically converted to credits, which is the currency used to purchase all units and structures. All mines have a finite amount of resources that will eventually slow to trickle. So, if you deplete an ore mine, it's best to try and expand to another in order to maintain a steady income.
You now have power and an economy set up. You're ready to start training units for the fight. From your production tab, go ahead and build a boot camp. Remember to place it down by selecting its icon, then left-clicking on open terrain. Incidentally, you can rotate the face of a structure you're about to plop down by holding down the left mouse button and moving the mouse around. Let go of the button when ready.
Now that you have a boot camp, you're able to train some infantry. To do this, You may select either your boot camp or the infantry tab under your radar. This will bring up the available units you're able to train. Let's train some so-called peacekeepers. Select the peacekeeper button to start training one. You may queue up multiple peacekeepers by continuing to select on his portrait.
Try holding the shift key to queue up 5 of those blokes at a time.
You can also halt the production of units or structures by right-clicking on a production button. Right-clicking a second time will cancel production and refund any credits that were spent. Left-clicking on a paused production process will resume production.
You can set a different rally point for them by selecting the structure and right-clicking some other place. All 3 factions produce units in the same way, from the respective tabs in the sidebar. By the by, many of your structures aren't restricted to being built on land. You can set them up on water as well. If you build another power plant, try placing it out in the drink. It doesn't cost you any extra, and most ground units won't be able to get to it that way.
Observe, however, that Allied structures may only be built in the radius surrounding the construction yard. You may expand your build radius by creating command hubs, which convert from your prospectors. Please select your prospector and use its special ability to unpack it somewhere. Across the water, perhaps. Go ahead, Commander.
Prospector ready, sir. Yes, sirree.
Arm response.
It's a beautiful day.
Prospectors are amphibious resource-collecting vehicles. They are unarmed and need to be protected. Their special ability is to unpack into command hubs. Other structures may then be built nearby. This conversion is irreversible, yet essential for expanding to new locations.
Prospector. Well, all right. Right away.
Objective complete.
Yeah, that's it. Also, bear in mind that the Allies' technology level is local to their construction yards or command hubs. That means not all your production structures on the battlefield may offer you the same construction options. You can upgrade your construction yard or your command hub by clicking the Heightened Clearance button with one of these structures selected. Try requesting heightened clearance on both your con yard and your command hub now. That's it. Now the other.
New construction options. Upgrade complete. Objective complete.
There it is. Heightened clearance costs you, and there's an even higher clearance level available after that. You need to decide when and where to request better tech when commanding the Allies, else things may turn rotten.
Yes. Also, should you ever have need to run away like a little girl, you may pack up your conyard, then unpack it on the water. The boot camp and armor facility are the only Allied structures you may not place on the water. Your seaport, on the other hand, is the only structure you may not build on land. Ow! What was that for?
Silence! Surely the commander wants to move on to the other factions by now. Feel free to continue dabbling with the Allies, then select me when you are ready to continue.
Need someone to take a look around?
Ready, sir. Where's the trouble? Ready, sir. Where's the trouble? Jeff, right here. What's up?
Javelin soldiers carry portable missile launchers effective against enemy armor and aircraft. Their special ability is to switch to laser-guided mode, in which it takes longer to acquire a target, but grants a much faster firing rate.
Jab, got your back. Taking position.
On time as always.
Ready to infiltrate.
Attack dogs are trained for amphibious scouting and light combat. Their attack is lethal to most infantry. They can detect disguised enemy units as well. Their special ability is a deafening bark that paralyzes enemy infantry within earshot.
Need someone to take a look around?
Yes, Commander. Have a disguise in mind?
While spies are unarmed, they can disguise themselves as other infantry and attempt to sneak into enemy bases on land or sea. Enemy scouts can break their disguise. They can infiltrate structures, causing the enemy base to suffer various consequences. Spies can also bribe enemy units near them to join your cause, for a fee.
All right, who's my first pickup? Prospector on duty.
Guardian tank, awaiting deployment.
Prospector ready, sir.
Athena Satnet, how may I assist you?
How's your day, sir? Now look at all that ore.
You going for the Mirage?
Multi-gunner at your service. Need someone to take a look around? Prospector!
Tank, awaiting deployment.
All right, who's my first pickup?
Hydrofoil here. What's going on?
You're in good hands, my friend.
Hydrofoil here. What's going on?
You're in good hands, my friend.
Kick the tires and light the fires.
Assault destroyer, proud to serve.
kick the tires and light the fires.
Satlink initialized.
Athena cannons are mobile artillery units linked to our space defense network. They can pinpoint targets from long range, causing a proton beam to fire down from orbit. Their special ability is the Aegis Shield, a barrier that temporarily protects the Athena cannon and nearby units. Athena cannons cannot act while the shield is up.
Whatever you need.
Multi-gunner IFVs are quick and versatile jack-of-all-trade vehicles that automatically switch weapons, depending on which infantry unit is riding inside. Their stock weapon is an anti-air, anti-surface rocket launcher, though they can be specialized to repair vehicles, counter enemy infantry, and more.
We await your direction.
Mirage tanks automatically camouflage themselves as innocuous objects while immobile. They can devastate surface targets with their Spectrum cannons. Their special ability is to switch on a device that makes nearby forces invisible to the enemy. Mirage tanks cannot camouflage or fire in this mode.
No complaints.
Riptide ACVs are all-terrain assault transports, with room for several infantry as well as a mounted machine gun for protection. Riptides are more powerful at sea, where they can attack using torpedoes as well as their gun. They are useful for rushing infantry behind enemy lines.
To serve.
Orbital defense network. Confirmed.
Let's run some field tests.
The Allied Navy employs specially trained dolphins armed with sonic weapons for scouting the seas and intercepting enemy ships. Dolphins have the special ability to jump up and out of water to avoid dangerous situations.
What's up? Let's see what she can do.
Hydrofoils are swift vessels that can quickly cut through enemy aircraft using their rapid-fire autocannons. Their special ability is to switch to using a weapon jammer, which prevents targeted foes from attacking.
Finest in the fleet.
Let's run some field tests.
Carrier leading course.
Assault destroyers are sturdy amphibious warships armed with heavy cannons effective against armored targets. Instead of using their main guns, they can activate their black hole armor, which automatically draws incoming fire directed at nearby friendly forces.
Assault destroyer taking to the waters. Making landfall. Prepared for war. Carrier at sea.
Aircraft carriers are powerful naval artillery platforms, which can neutralize enemy installations from a safe distance. Their combat drones automatically return to rearm between bombing runs. Carriers can also launch the Blackout missile, which deactivates vehicles or structures caught in its blast.
Designated driver. You got it, sir. Cryocopter. Hello? Cryo systems ready to go.
Cryocopters are special support units which can freeze targets. Frozen units cannot act, and are highly vulnerable to attack. The cryocopter's special ability is the shrink beam, which temporarily reduces the target in size, making it less powerful and easily crushed.
Just say the word.
Vindicators are close support bombers effective against enemy vehicles. They must reload at an airbase between bombing runs. They have a special ability that lets them quickly return to base to rearm and repair when needed.
Skies are looking good.
Apollo fighters are air superiority jets, armed with rapid-fire cannons that can tear enemy aircraft to bits. Their special ability is to quickly return to their airbase to reload and repair as necessary.
Altering course.
Let's rock!
Destroyer standing by.
I'm ready. In the chute. Just give us a target and we're on our way.
Special Agent Tanya is our finest commando. She can easily dispatch enemy infantry with her pistols and eliminate structures and vehicles with her explosives. Tanya is a remarkable swimmer too. Her special ability is the time belt, which instantly transports her back in time several moments and can get her out of harm's way.
I'm here if you need me.
Though defenseless against enemy units, engineers can capture neutral or enemy structures on land or at sea. They can also repair your damaged structures. Their special ability is to set up a first aid tent, which causes any of your infantry units in the vicinity to gradually recover from injuries.
Yes, sir!
Just give us a target and we're on our way. Just give us a target and we're on our way. Sentry here, I'm all ears.
Sentry bombers are well-armored flying infantry transports that can carpet bomb enemy bases to dust. They must rearm back at an airbase between bombing runs, at which time they can pick up more infantry to paradrop behind enemy lines.
Just give us a target and we're on our way. This monstrosity is the Soviet construction yard. You will see that the Soviets build differently from the Allies. Select the construction yard or the production tab, then select the reactor button. Now place the reactor on open terrain as you did with the Allied structures. Do not wait for the reactor to build in the queue, for you would wait forever. Unlike the Allies, the Soviets carelessly build their structures out on the battlefield.
Notice how the structure is hastily being thrown together in the field. While it's building up, it's vulnerable to enemy attack, so be cautious when placing your structures. All Soviet structures build up in this way.
Just like the Allies, however, you can pause and cancel a structure's buildup by right-clicking on its button. And of course, your Soviet structures may be placed at sea, with the exceptions of the barracks and war factory.
Oi, aren't you forgetting something?
Yet. At least, not anymore. Commander, one truly unique Soviet structure you should be aware of is the Crusher Crane. Try building one now from your production structures queue. Crusher cranes work much like construction yards, so now you can build 2 structures at once from your 2 separate build queues. What's more, your crane's repair drones will automatically repair nearby vehicles, or you can order these vehicles into its grinders to crush them for a quick refund. To access your newly added build queues, select the buttons added to the sidebar, or click the tabs in the sidebar to cycle between queues. You can build multiple production structures to gain more build queues, allowing you to build more stuff at once. Of course, you'll need plenty of income to support this. Now, please feel free to continue exploring the richness of the Soviet build system. When you're done, please select the tsunami tank to proceed.
Objective complete. Building. Building. Construction complete. New construction options. Building. Building. Construction complete. New construction options.
for the collection.
Training. Construction complete.
Conscript
Building.
training finished.
Construction complete. Low power.
Ready for
Building.
the collection.
Conscript training finished.
Building. Building. Construction complete.
Conscript training finished.
Building. Construction
Conscript
complete.
training finished.
Building.
Conscript training finished.
Construction
Flag trooper
complete.
doing my time. Ready for the collection.
Building.
Flag trooper doing my time. Flag trooper doing my time. The Union must be funded.
Construction complete.
You need
New
engineer?
construction options.
A noble task.
Ore collectors automatically gather resources essential to fueling the Soviet war machine. These amphibious vehicles must be protected at all costs. Their special ability is to deploy reactive armor, which makes them highly resistant to enemy attacks. Note, they cannot gather resources in this state.
Construction complete. New construction options. Building. 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 Construction complete. Building. Construction complete. New construction options. Building. Construction complete. Building.
I'm all packed up.
Building.
I'm all packed up. Let's move some people down. Hello?
Sputniks are defenseless vehicles that offer an economical alternative to mobile construction vehicles when it becomes necessary to expand. These amphibious units may convert to an outpost almost anywhere, allowing other Soviet structures to be built nearby.
Batteries fully charged.
All from transport open for business. All from transport open for business.
Maybe we can go fishing.
Construction complete.
Where we
New
are going?
construction options.
What's over here? Yes? Water's warm, yes? Hello? I'll make myself at home,
Ready for the
yes.
deep.
Construction complete. Construction complete. New construction options. Building. Building. Building.
Twin blade inspection complete. Let's go on a trip.
Who's looking for a good pounding?
Ah, finally!
MiG, ready to rule the skies.
Construction complete. Building.
Warhead, MiG,
Building.
ready to rule the skies.
Construction complete. Construction complete. Construction complete.
I will show you
MiG,
around.
ready to
Fine.
rule the
Okay.
skies.
Bullfrogs are amphibious anti-aircraft troop transports. Their flak cannons can quickly destroy enemy aircraft. The only means for passengers to exit a bullfrog is via the man cannon, which can be used to launch infantry behind enemy lines.
Standing by for coordinates.
V-4 rocket launchers are long-range artillery pieces whose rockets can quickly destroy most any unit or structure if they hit. Their special ability is to fire multi-warheads that split up in flight, causing widespread damage. Note, V-4s cannot defend themselves up close.
What do you say?
MiG, ready to rule the skies.
Terror drones are amphibious robots that can kill enemy infantry or tear into vehicles and dismantle them from the inside. Once infected, the vehicle must be repaired, or else it will be destroyed. Terror drones can switch to using an electrostasis ray that shuts down vehicle locomotors, preventing them from moving.
Quiet down, it's HQ.
Sickles are fast-moving anti-personnel vehicles armed with 3 independently firing machine guns. Their special ability lets them leap long distances or even onto enemy infantry.
I have the final say.
Apocalypse tanks can easily take on other vehicles with their powerful main guns and can crush most anything under their massive treads. Their special ability is a magnetic harpoon, which can draw enemy vehicles in for the kill.
Training.
War bears are trained for scouting by land and sea, as well as anti-infantry combat. Their mauling attack is lethal against most infantry. Their special ability is an amplified roar that causes paralysis in enemy infantry within earshot. War bears also detect...
Conscript excited to fight.
It's being in the gulag.
Combat
Fully
engineer.
charged.
Combat engineers can capture neutral or enemy structures both on land or at sea, or repair your damaged structures. They carry basic revolvers for self-defense. Their special ability is to build a battle bunker, which can be garrisoned by other infantry.
Okay.
wait till I get these chains
Construction
off.
complete.
Huh? Combat engineer.
Collect trooper. What's in there?
Show me what to do. I supposed to do something?
Natasha
Where's that
here.
food
You have a
you
list
promised?
for me?
Is it time? Ah, thank you.
Capacitors ready.
Tesla troopers are heavy infantry armed with electrifying weapons effective against most targets. They are too big to be crushed by most tanks. Their special ability is to switch to using electromagnetic disruptors that automatically disable enemy vehicles in the vicinity.
You like my scope?
Natasha is the Union's greatest sniper commando, whose rifle can kill several infantry in one shot. She may also call in airstrikes against other targets. Her special ability is to snipe pilots cleanly in their vehicles, such that the vehicles can then be captured. Natasha is equally effective on land or at sea.
Stingray.
Stingrays are experimental strike craft fitted with Tesla weapons that are effective against most targets. Stingrays are amphibious, though slower moving on land. Their special ability is the Tesla surge, which shoots lightning in all directions while briefly immobilizing the unit. It only works on water.
We lurk the seas.
We rule these waters. How is everything? The seas will run red.
Dreadnoughts are powerful long-range bombardment ships armed with multiple rocket launchers. They can destroy any surface target in moments. Their special ability makes them fire even more rapidly, although forcing the weapon systems to do this gradually causes internal damage.
Have I missed anyone?
Kirov airships are flying heavy bombers. Nothing on the ground can withstand their bombs. Kirovs are slow but highly durable. Their special ability provides them with a burst of speed using a chemical process that slowly causes them to take damage. Therefore, it must be used sparingly.
Quiet.
Akula subs excel at quickly destroying enemy ships with their torpedoes. They must surface to fire, but are invulnerable to most attacks while submerged. Their special ability is to launch ultra-torpedoes, which are devastating unguided warheads that rapidly accelerate straight ahead.
On full alert.
Twin Blades are anti-surface combat helicopters armed with machine guns and rockets. In addition to their powerful weapons, Twin Blades function as transports and can ferry infantry or some vehicles across the battlefield.
Soviet air superiority.
MiG fighters are specialized air superiority jets designed purely for intercepting groups of enemy aircraft. They carry a limited supply of ammunition and must occasionally rearm at an airbase. They have a special ability to rapidly return to base if needed.
Yes?
At last! Let us continue, Commander, for this will be worth it. The Empire of the Rising Sun has the most unique build system in that our structures are all created from special units called nanocores. Cores may unfurl at the location of your choosing, much like an MCV unpacks into a construction yard. However, unfurled Imperial structures cannot pack back up. Go into your production structures queue and build a generator core. The generator core will be yours to control as soon as it emerges from your construction yard. If you select it, you may give it move commands around the map like any unit. To unfurl it into an instant generator while having it selected, use its unfurled special ability, much like you did with the MCV earlier in this lesson. You should now have a ghosted image of the instant generator attached to your cursor. Select a spot on open terrain to make your generator core unfurl at that location. All nanocore are amphibious, so they can cross land as well as water. This means the Empire of the Rising Sun can spread its borders far and wide. The Imperial Docks is the only structure that cannot unfurl on land, while the Mecha Bay and Instant Dojo cannot unfurl at sea. One last thing about Imperial production structures. They must be upgraded individually to unlock new construction options. You'll find these upgrades in their build queues. Now, Commander, do you see how superior our production capability is compared with that of my barbaric friends here?
I still think ours is better. Oh no. Ow! Ow!
Keep fussing with the Imperial build system if you want. And when you're all set, select me and we'll wrap up.
Dojo core ready.
Building.
Dojo core. Unpack location set. Refinery
Building.
core ready. Unpack location refinery core ready. Site designated.
Construction complete. New construction options. Building.
Burst drones are flying robotic scouts used to survey enemy troop movements. They may attach themselves to enemy vehicles, slowing the enemy down. Burst drones may also self-destruct, damaging nearby targets.
I serve the Emperor.
Construction complete. New construction
I'll collect
options.
the goods.
Construction complete. Building.
I'll collect the goods.
Building.
I'll handle the ore collection.
Ore collectors are amphibious resource-gathering vehicles that travel between ore mines and ore refineries. They must be protected at all times. They can bring up a rapid-fire weapon to defend themselves as needed, although they cannot gather ore while the security system is activated.
You called, Your Eminence?
Building.
Generator core ready.
Building.
Generator core. I'll collect the goods. I'll collect the goods. Ready.
Building.
Mecha Bay core. Unpack location ready. Docks core.
Construction complete.
Unpack location set.
Building. Building.
Mainframe core ready. Defender core ready. Mainframe core.
Construction complete. New construction options.
Defender core. Unpack location set.
Building. Construction complete. New construction options.
Generator core
Building.
ready. Set for core. Generator core ready. Unpack location.
Construction complete. New construction options. Upgrade complete. Construction complete. New construction options. Building. Construction complete. Low power. Construction complete.
Defender core ready. Set for core unpack. Selection in progress.
Construction complete. Building.
Generator core ready. Site designated.
Upgrade complete. New construction options. Building. Construction complete.
I'll take you to the enemy's doorstep.
You require my services?
Make a tango, let's go!
Rocket Angel suited up.
I am here to serve you.
Engineers can instantly capture neutral or enemy structures, either on land or at sea. They may also repair damaged structures. Their special ability is to sprint. After this brief burst of energy, they run out of breath and have to take a moment to recover.
Tsunami risers! Respect the Emperor! With honor!
Imperial warriors fight using burst-firing rifles, specially made to take down other infantry. Their special ability gives them a window of opportunity to rush enemy infantry with beam katanas at the ready. One stroke from these blades is lethal.
Keep watch.
Tank busters are specially trained and outfitted to take on enemy armor. Their personal plasma cutter cannons can punch through a battle tank quickly. Their special ability is to dive into a spider hole which boosts their defense and prevents them from being crushed by vehicles. They can pop up to resume firing.
I am your all systems great.
Shinobi are expert infiltrator assassins. Their bladed weapons are lethal to infantry, and they can traverse land and sea with equal ease. Their special ability is a smoke bomb which causes enemies to lose the shinobi as a target. If a shinobi gets inside an enemy structure, he will disrupt the enemy in various ways depending on the structure.
All suited up.
Rocket Angels are flying women warriors armed with photon rocket arrays, which are effective against armored targets both on the ground and in the air. They may switch to using an energized paralysis whip, which stops a single target from moving or attacking.
Upgrade complete. New construction options.
We must be patient.
Are you my friend?
Sudden transports may disguise themselves as other vehicles to sneak Imperial infantry behind enemy lines. Because they hover, they can cross land or sea equally as well. Though unarmed with conventional weapons, sudden transports are rigged to explode if destroyed.
Charging. On watch.
Striker VXs are dual-form pilot-assisted robots designed to destroy enemy aircraft with their guided rockets, but that is not all. Their special ability is to transform into the Flying Chopper VX form, which is effective against armored targets on the ground. Nothing is safe from these units.
The stuff of legend!
The Mecha Tengu are versatile fast-attack skirmishers whose twin autocannons are particularly deadly against infantry. There is no terrain they cannot cross. Their special ability is to transform into the Jet Tengu, a flying form effective against aircraft.
Striker pilot.
Hey, come on.
Upgrade complete. New construction options.
They'll fear me yet.
Yuriko Omega is our most powerful infantry unit. She has been trained to use her mind as a weapon, and her mind can destroy almost anything. She may pursue her enemies either on land or at sea. Should she be outnumbered, she can send her foes flying using her psychokinetic burst special ability.
Building.
HQ, oh, good to hear from you.
The tsunami risers!
Yari mini-subs are undersea scouts armed with tiny torpedoes effective against enemy naval forces. These units must surface to fire, but are invulnerable to most attacks under sea. Their special ability causes them to self-destruct into their targets.
Let's check it out.
We are the way. The warrior's path.
I've seen it all. Submerged and scanning.
Sea Wings combine the functions of an anti-aircraft submarine with a close air support aircraft. They must surface to attack in Sea Wing form, whereas in Sky Wing form, these units may attack relentlessly against ground or sea targets.
The seas belong to the Empire.
Building.
All clear.
Naginata cruisers are specially made to destroy enemy ships in a hail of torpedoes. Their special ability launches a spread of auxiliary torpedoes from hidden launch bays. This attack takes considerable time to rearm.
Who has awakened me?
Upgrade complete. New construction options.
Do not test me.
The King Oni are the Emperor's heaviest ground forces. These battle walkers can incinerate foes with their eye blasters. Their special ability is the Bull Rush, which they use to close the distance with enemies, or more often, to smash right into them and destroy them.
We will take them by force.
Building.
It is time.
Wave Force artillery are mobile bombardment vehicles that fire energy salvos rather than basic ballistic warheads. Their attack is extremely powerful, though the firing sequence is slow. However, their special ability lets them fire immediately at the expense of some attack strength.
The day of the Shogun has arrived. The Emperor's battleship.
Shogun battleships are the finest vessels in the Imperial fleet. Nothing can stand up to a barrage from their 6 main guns. Their special ability provides a temporary burst of speed, allowing these ships to crash straight through other vessels.
Training.
I serve the Emperor. I serve the Emperor.
Well, that concludes the lesson on base building. Don't worry, the other ones will be shorter. Mostly. Let's shove off, lads. Commander, see you then.
Ow!
No enemy is too big.
Why hello again, Commander. In this lesson, you're going to get acquainted with your units and some of the abilities that make them unique. Every unit in Red Alert 3 has some sort of special ability, in addition to its primary ability. The majority of your unit's primary abilities is to attack their targets. A unit's special ability may put a nasty status effect on an enemy, switch to an alternate weapon, or even transform into an entirely different unit.
Let us go over how to use special abilities now. Select that allied cryocopter, if you please. The cryocopter's special ability is the shrink beam. With the cryocopter selected, left-click on its special ability button in the bottom right of your screen, or press the F key. Notice that the shrink beam is a targeted special ability, which means you have to left-click on a target to use it. Other types of special abilities take effect as soon as you press the ability button. Now then, use the shrink beam on my good friend the Soviet Hammer tank.
Wait, what? No way, not me again!
Size.
Melting!
As stated earlier, not all special abilities need to be targeted like the cryocopter's shrink beam. Some abilities cause units to switch weapon modes. Blimey, that tank looks like he's lost control, and all you've got is an allied hydrofoil. Its primary weapon is an anti-air cannon that won't do you any good here. However, if you use its special ability, it'll switch from its gun to the weapon jammer. Select the hydrofoil now and ready the weapon jammer by left-clicking on its special ability button or hitting the F key. Proper. Now, have your hydrofoil fire on that Soviet apocalypse tank on the shore.
Of course, my friend.
So much for that tea party. As you can see, the apocalypse tank can no longer fire. Not so scary now, is he? So remember, even the toughest enemy units may be vulnerable to your lesser units' special abilities. Learn them all and never give up.
If you're finished with your motivational speech, perhaps we can continue? Commander, let's go over a unit whose special ability is to transform. One basic example is the MCV, though let us take a look at a more exciting case in one of the Empire of the Rising Sun's versatile Mecha Tengu units. The Mecha Tengu is an amphibious, hovering anti-infantry unit that can transform into the Jet Tengu, a flying air superiority fighter. Not only does the transform ability affect how it navigates the battlefield, it also means the unit changes from having anti-ground weapons to anti-air weapons. Select the Mecha Tengu and use its special ability.
Just cruising! Mecha Tengu, go!
Impressive, no? Now, order your Jet Tengu to destroy that miserable cryocopter. Oh, and don't worry, it is merely a training robot carefully disguised to look like a real vehicle.
No robots are going to get past you, Commander. You should know there are some units at your disposal whose primary ability either isn't a weapon at all, or will change depending on what you tell it to attack. For example, each faction has its own type of engineer unit, like this swarthy fellow over here. Engineers are special units that can capture any enemy structure or neutral tech structure. Much like with moving or attacking, you can select your engineer and right-click on a capturable structure. That'll make him go after it. Look, there seems to be an oil derrick you can capture out in the water. Oil derricks are neutral tech structures that provide additional income. Go get it. Off he goes. Note that engineers are amphibious, so they automatically switch to a keen aquatic form when they get to water. Not all units are amphibious, of course. Notice you can issue capture commands into the fog of war, assuming the structure is still there when you get to it.
Hey, where did that engineer go anyway? Ow!
He went into the structure, you fool, and there he shall remain forever. For that is the way of the engineer.
You may have noticed that when you highlighted that enemy structure with your engineer selected, your cursor changed to a garrison cursor. That garrison cursor indicates a structure you can enter. Your basic infantry can't garrison enemy structures or neutral tech structures like the engineer can, but they can garrison civilian structures such as hotels and houses.
Fear not, for civilians have long since abandoned such structures once they heard we were coming.
When infantry garrison these structures, they receive extra protection, as the building they're in will take damage instead of the units themselves, should they come under fire. Garrisoning your units into civilian structures is a good tactic, both from an offensive and a defensive perspective. It helps to secure locations, force enemies to take an alternate path, or give your units more cover near to your base should the enemy send a force to destroy you. Now garrison that nearby structure by issuing a move order onto it whilst having some peacekeepers selected. Good, they're in. And here comes trouble. As you can see, those enemy training robots fired upon the structure rather than directly at your peacekeepers. Watch out though, because each faction has ways of clearing out garrison structures.
The Allies and Empire can try rushing their peacekeepers or Imperial warriors into a garrison structure, while the Soviet conscripts can use their Molotov cocktails.
Of course, you could just blow the structures up if you cannot be bothered by such details.
Now, let's say you need to get your peacekeepers out of the structure. Just select the structure and use the evacuate command, just like using a special ability on a unit. Do this now. Some of your units can also be garrisoned by your infantry. The multi-gunner IFV is a unique allied vehicle whose weapon takes on the characteristics of whichever infantry unit hops inside. Order one of your peacekeepers into that IFV and watch what happens.
If I may, normally the IFV's weapon works best against aircraft, but once you garrisoned your peacekeeper into it, it changed into an anti-infantry weapon. While the IFV can only contain one infantry unit at a time, other vehicles can hold more and can transport your infantry around the battlefield. For example, the Riptide ACV is admittedly a good transport for getting infantry quickly and safely from one point to another, although infantry cannot fire out of it. Garrison your remaining infantry into the Riptide now. Now that they're garrisoned, let's move your Riptide across this lake and over to the shore on the other side. Look for the marker on the radar.
Yeah. Heading ashore.
Riptides are a special type of unit in that they're amphibious, meaning they can traverse both land and water. As my comrade said, not all units are amphibious, so it's good to make note of the ones that are. Some units behave differently on land and water. For instance, when your Riptide is on water, its torpedo tubes open to give it additional firepower. Now that you've made it to the other side, let's get those peacekeepers out. All transports have the not-so-special ability to evacuate their passengers. Use the evacuate ability now.
Step right up.
Finally, let us discuss contextual attacks. A contextual attack is what you get when your cursor changes to something other than a normal attack cursor. Select the allied commander who has showed up so very unexpectedly.
Hey, what's up?
This Agent Tanya has different ways of attacking targets depending on the type of target. When you order her to attack enemy infantry, such as these lifelike robots, your cursor will be that of a normal attack cursor. However, when you highlight an enemy vehicle or structure, you get a demolition cursor. When ordered to demolish a target, Tanya will move very close to the target, set some charges, and blow it up. This is an example of a contextual attack. Go ahead and dispose of those forces using the commando.
Other units, such as our allied spies like this one here, also have contextual attacks. Select the spy, then use his contextual attack on one of those enemy training dummies. Now who's the dummy, am I right? As you can see, the spy's primary ability is to disguise himself as the enemy. Alternatively, if you highlight an enemy structure, you can try to infiltrate it to disrupt the enemy's base.
Infiltration has different effects depending on which type of structure is infiltrated. Experiment with all the possibilities. Incidentally, the Empire of the Rising Sun Shinobi unit may also infiltrate structures. Only the tactless Soviets lack an infiltrator.
Oh! But why?
Come on, lads, we have to get through this. Commander, that's the end of this lesson. See you in the next one. Why, hello, Commander. In this particular lesson, we're going to be covering top-secret protocols and how to use them, as well as the threat meter and some other heavy stuff. To begin with, let's have a look at this here base. Let's say you're low on credits. If at any point you decide that you no longer want a structure that you've placed, you may sell it. To sell a structure, left-click on the sell button under your radar, then left-click on the structure you wish to sell. Right-clicking cancels out of sell mode. Try selling one of those power plants now.
He was a good power plant. But you can build another. Don't go crazy selling everything. What would your friends think if you failed a tutorial mission? Hey! Quit it!
Relax, friend. I was just about to explain to the commander here how to repair. It's pretty important. To repair a damaged structure, left-click on the repair button under your radar. Then left-click on your construction yard. Give it a go.
You'll notice that the repair icon has appeared on your construction yard, indicating that it's undergoing repairs. Structures can only repair as long as you have sufficient funds. You may notice that as your structure is repairing, your credits are slowly trickling down.
Now then, let's talk about top-secret protocols.
Top-secret protocols is just a fancy term for special support powers you can use. These will affect the battlefield, your enemies, and your units and structures. Basically, they can get you out of a pinch. Keep in mind, you need your construction yard intact in order to use them.
Each faction has its own set of protocols which can be offensive or defensive in nature. Sometimes both. As you progress through a battle, you'll gradually earn security points which you can use to access new protocols. Progress towards your next security point is indicated by the meter surrounding the top secret protocols button on your screen. The number in the button is your current number of security points.
Now, let's go over how to access your protocols. Left-click the top secret protocols button, or press the tilde hotkey to the left of the 1 key to bring up a menu of all the dirty tricks you can use. As you can see, this menu has like 15 different protocols to choose from. The protocols are ranked by levels, so to access protocols further down the list, you need to access the ones above them first.
As mentioned earlier, there are different types of protocols. There are offense-oriented protocols such as surgical strike, which can damage enemy forces. There are more tactical protocols such as chrono risk, which can protect your units or split enemy forces. And then there are upgrade protocols that provide passive bonuses, such as advanced aeronautics, which toughens up all those weak little allied aircraft. Unlike offensive and tactical protocols, upgrade protocols take effect immediately once acquired and do not need to be activated manually.
Each protocol costs 1 security point. Now, go get Surveillance Sweep from your top secret protocols menu. Well, sir. Looks like you've been cleared to use Surveillance Sweep. What an occasion! All protocols available to you will appear on the left-hand side of your screen. To use Surveillance Sweep, first left-click on it. Now you need to select a target location for the sweep. This one's a little dodgy because you then have to select a second location to plot a trajectory. So, left-click once, then again someplace else in the area near the edge of the screen. Give it a go. See that? Make sure to have a look at the notes written next to each protocol, so you're aware of what you're signing up for before you pick one of these. By the way, the protocols available to you are determined solely by the faction you're commanding. So even if you pull a stunt like capturing an enemy conyard, doesn't mean their top brass will, open the kimono on their military secrets. Makes sense, yeah?
Next, we'll talk about the threat meter, which gives you an impression of how much death and destruction is happening all around you in a given moment. The threat meter increases in battle, especially when you sustain heavy casualties. And the higher it is, the faster you earn new security points. Higher levels of threat also influence how quickly your units gain combat veterancy. The higher the threat, the faster your units will become great heroes from killing foes. Veteran units display a little chevron. They're better at killing enemies, and once they achieve heroic status, they automatically regenerate to boot.
Watch how one of your units gains veterancy by mowing down droves of hostile targets. Heroic forces like these can make a huge difference, so best keep them around. Speaking of which, what sort of commotion over there?
It appears you are under attack. Take advantage of your high threat meter and vet up your forces while using some of your top secret protocols to assist you. Fear not, for this is only a simulation involving lifelike robots.
Oh, now it's on. Try to build up enough forces to stop your enemy's invasion, then take those units to the enemy's base and destroy it.
Remember, you also have access to your top secret protocols to help you take down your enemy.
I'm all...
Ow! Whatever. Figure it out for yourself then.
Hey, mate. How are you? Right, let's do it.
Prospector on duty.
Ready, sir. Where's the trouble? Ready, sir. Where's the trouble? Arm response.
Here's my first pickup.
Right here. Ready, sir. Where's the trouble? Ready, sir. Where's the trouble? Tactical unit.
All right, here's my first pickup. Multi-gunner, good hands, my friend. Multi-gunner at your service. You're in good hands, my friend.
Kick the tires and light the fire.
Ready, sir. Where's the trouble? Ready, sir. Where's the trouble?
Multi-gunner at your service.
Ready, sir. Where's the trouble? Ready, sir. Where's the trouble?
Multi-gunner at your service.
Ready, sir. Where's the trouble?
Dapper, right here. Assault destroyer, proud to serve.
Multi-gunner at your service.
Dapper, right here. Dapper, right here.
Multi-gunner at your service.
Dapper, right here.
Multi-gunner at your service.
Dapper, right here.
All right, who's my first pickup? All right, who's my first pickup? All right, who's my first pickup? All right, who's my first pickup?
Need someone to take a look around?
All right, who's my first pickup?
Let's run some field tests.
All right, who's my first pickup?
Assault destroyer, proud to serve.
Let's run some field tests. All right, who's my first pickup?
Guardian tank, awaiting deployment.
Let's run some field tests.
Guardian tank, awaiting deployment.
Athena Satnet, how may I assist you? Athena Satnet, how may I assist you?
Aircraft carrier leaving port.
You called for the Mirage? You called for the Mirage?
Aircraft carrier leaving port.
Athena Satnet, how may I assist you?
Smashing work, Commander. You're now one step closer to becoming a serious threat out there. We're done with this lesson. See you in the next one, all right? Back for more then, Commander. In this particular lesson, we'll be going over some of the more advanced play mechanics that will separate the men from the boys. From earlier lessons, you should be aware of the Allied spy and some of his capabilities by now. Spies can disguise themselves as enemy units. Only scout units, the Allied attack dog, Soviet warbear, and Imperial burst drone can detect disguised enemy units. Spies and Imperial shinobi can also infiltrate enemy structures. When you infiltrate a structure, it'll impair your enemy's base in various ways, which should give you the upper hand. For example, if you infiltrate that enemy reactor, the entire base will power down for a while. Go ahead and infiltrate the instant generator by right-clicking on it whilst your spy is selected.
Undercover. Stand by for infiltration. Quickly now, before I'm spotted.
Excellent, Commander. By infiltrating their generator, you've brought down their entire base's power, which in turn powered down their base defenses. That will certainly make it easier to destroy their base. Stupid robots. Oh no! It appears the Empire of the Rising Sun is sending in a force to destroy your tanks. You'll need to retreat your tanks back to your base. A clever way of doing that is to reverse move them back to your base. This will allow them to continue attacking those enemy units while retreating to a safer location. To reverse move your units, select them and press the D key on your keyboard. Notice how your cursor changed. Right-click on the target destination near your construction yard to order your tanks to retreat. Another benefit of reverse moving is that it keeps a unit's stronger front armor facing the enemy. Most vehicles are more vulnerable from the rear and flanks. So when you retreat from enemies using a normal move command, you'll turn tail and take more damage. Reverse moving allows your unit's stronger front armor to take the brunt of the fire.
Good job, sir. Your units made it back and were able to whittle down those enemy tanks health enough for your base defenses to finish them off. Had you issued a normal move order back to your base, your Guardian tanks might not have fared as well. Incidentally, should the enemy catch you off guard with an attack, listen for audio cues from your intel officer and visual cues on radar to tip you off. To jump to the most recent radar event, just hit the spacebar. Or to get back to your main base from anywhere in battle, tap the H key. Oh, pants. It looks like the Empire is sending another attack wave, but this time they've come at us with infantry. Your base defenses are strong against infantry, but with that many of the blighters, I don't think it's going to be enough. So, a good way to dispatch large quantities of infantry is to crush them with vehicles. Not all vehicles can crush infantry, so it's good to familiarize yourself with the ones that can. Small vehicles like your IFVs and Riptides are examples of vehicles that can't crush. On the other hand, larger vehicles like Guardian tanks and assault destroyers can crush a man like so many potato crisps. What's more, some of the largest vehicles in Red Alert 3 are big enough to crush other, smaller vehicles. Anyhow, let's crush those robots.
Wait! You may wish to assign your tanks to a control group first. This is an important way of managing your forces. To assign units to a control group, select them, then hold the control key and press a number key. Do this now, please. Good. You may now select those units at any time by pressing the corresponding number key. You can also jump to the group by double-tapping the key. Now, please proceed with crushing my robots.
Thought you'd never ask. To crush enemy infantry, select your Guardian tanks and issue a move order behind the enemy infantry. You can also issue a force move command using the G hotkey or using the Advanced Commands tab near the bottom of the screen. Issue a move command to the designated location with your tanks now.
Let him have it! Gentlemen, let's move.
Seeing as how that Rising Sun base seems intent on taking us down, let's go over some ways to get your units to protect your base without being drawn out by the enemy. All of your units can be set to different stances, which affect their behavior. All units start off in guard stance, meaning they will auto-acquire enemies that come within their attack range and pursue them for a short distance if they try to flee. Once the dust settles, your units will return to their original positions. We need to have some of our units on defense for our base, but not pursue our enemies. To do this, we need to put them into hold ground stance. First, select one or more of your tanks. Now click on the Advanced Commands panel in the bottom right of your screen next to the unit portrait. As you can see, this panel reveals some additional controls for your units. Select the Hold Ground button to change your unit's stance.
Simple as that, you've just changed your unit's stance. Keep in mind that no matter what stance your units are in, any orders you issue will always be followed. Stances will only affect how units behave when not under your direct control. Now, take 3 Guardian tanks, not counting our field instructor, and move one to each of the designated locations and put them into a hold ground stance.
Guardian tank good to go. Could we be of help, sir? Affirmative, sir. What's on the agenda? Capital. Guardian tank at your service. Perfect. What say we also set up some base defenses? Each faction has a couple of its own base defenses. The Allies have multi-gunner turrets, for example. Select the Support Structures tab in the sidebar, build a multi-gunner turret, and place it near your tanks. Multi-gunner turrets change weapons if you put different infantry into them, though the rocket launchers they use by default should be handy in most cases.
You can also build walls from your support structures queue. To do so, build and place one wall segment, then build and place another along the same row as the first. You'll see the build grid show green to indicate where you can form a solid wall. Careful though, each wall segment costs you, so longer walls are more expensive. Walls are useful for blocking smaller forces like those pesky engineers, always trying to steal your structures. Go on and try building a solid wall at the front of your base.
Capital! Now if the Rising Sun attacks, we'll have some extra defenses waiting for them that they won't be able to draw away from our base. And here they come. As you can see, they've decided to retreat back to base, but your Guardian tanks stood their ground and didn't continue after them. Had your Guardian tanks followed them back, they most likely would have been destroyed by the Empire's own base defenses.
Yes, the Empire's base defenses are quite impressive. You may need to use combined arms to defeat them. In fact, if you depend overmuch on just 1 or 2 types of units, you are bound to fail. Thankfully, it is easy to manage multiple types of units at once. Try selecting all your combat forces on the battlefield using the Q key. Good. Notice you have multiple unit types in the contextual tab in your sidebar at right. One type of unit in your group will always be selected. To cycle between unit types, simply tap the tab hotkey. Try this now. Switching unit types in this fashion makes it easier to use your mixed group special abilities without deselecting the group. We should also briefly touch on waypoint mode for its useful. Waypoint mode lets you queue up move or attack orders. To use waypoint mode, hold the Alt key while issuing move or attack orders as normal with units selected. Your units will complete the orders in sequence.
Ready as always. What's on the agenda?
Now, earlier we had mentioned how directional armor comes into play during battles. Another type of armor bonus your units can receive comes from an automatic reaction to enemy fire called suppression. Suppression only affects infantry units. When infantry units become suppressed, they go prone on the ground and continue firing. Suppressed infantry are slower, but more resistant to damage. Send your infantry into that city square there and attack that garrison structure.
Javelin on deck. Hell yeah! Hey man, Yo.
Banzai! As you approached the structure, your units came under enemy fire, and some of them were suppressed as a result of the enemy attacks. Due to this suppressed position, your units could absorb more damage and in turn deal more damage to that enemy structure, allowing them to destroy it.
Oh! What was that for?
That was for my robots.
Well, good job, Commander. You now know some of the advanced tactics that'll surely make you a worthy adversary on the battlefield. And would you believe it? There are still more advanced tactics and commands for you to learn. Just dig into the options screen for a complete command list. But do that on your own time. This lesson's over, and there's only one more left. We're heading over to it now. Finally, the last lesson. Feels good to be almost finished, eh, Commander? Let's get started. In this lesson, you'll learn how to work with your co-commander to help achieve victory on the battlefield. You'll be working with a co-commander throughout the campaigns in Red Alert 3. You can fight alongside a friend, or if you don't have any friends, the game will provide one for you. No matter which campaign you're playing, your co-commander's forces will always be green. In general, you can expect your co-commander to do a halfway decent job of fending for him or herself or helping you out. But just in case, we've set up a handy-dandy interface for you to issue specific directives to your partner. In the upper left hand of your screen is the co-commander monitor. Unfortunately, this won't let you control your real friends, but it's useful when fighting alongside one of the game's co-commanders.
Now, let's go over all the functions. First and foremost, there's a handsome image of your co-commander to remind you who you're fighting alongside. For this tutorial, you'll be fighting alongside the fresh-faced Soviet commander Oleg.
Commander, Comrade Oleg here. I trust you're enjoying the banality of this training lesson. Hurry up and learn what you need to, so we can get to the real thing.
Right next to his portrait are the various directives you can issue. Basically, you can boss him around. The first is take position, which causes your co-commander to immediately send his available forces to a target location. To issue this directive, select the Take Position button. Then move your cursor over the battlefield and left-click again in the target area. Go ahead, please.
New objective received.
No problem.
Good. Notice how Oleg promptly responded by sending his forces to the position you requested.
Now, the next directive is Strike Target. This directive makes your co-commander immediately send available forces to destroy that target, and anything nearby. Much like last time, to issue a Strike Target directive, you must first select the button, then move your cursor over an enemy, and left-click on it. Issue a Strike Target directive on that enemy boot camp.
New objective received.
I'll handle this.
He's gone. Anything else?
Objective complete.
That is how we do it in Russia. Notice how Oleg immediately responded with his forces. Another option is to use the Plan Attack directive. This directive makes your co-commander build a good-sized force to eliminate any enemy units in the target area, as well as any enemies encountered along the way. As with the others, to issue a Plan Attack directive, just select the button, then select a target enemy or location on the battlefield. Go ahead and use Plan Attack on the other side of that valley.
Excellent idea.
Your co-commander's always got your back, Commander. Lastly, let's go over the Keep Command Directive. This one makes your co-commander fend for him or herself, and he or she will always do so by default. Unlike the other directives, this one does not require you to select a target, and may be used to cancel the other directives. To issue this directive, simply select the Keep Command button.
Now then, we have one final type of directive to review.
Enemy base detected.
During the course of some missions, you will come across what we call co-commander strikes. These are situational tactics your co-commander will use when given the signal. Notice how one has just appeared on the battlefield. Co-commander strikes may appear anywhere, anytime during a mission, and it's yours to decide how best to use them. Let us examine that co-commander strike more closely.
To give your co-commander the signal to execute the strike, select it. This brings up a window explaining the strike. To confirm the tactic, select the Execute button. Go ahead and give your co-commander the signal now.
New objective received.
On that note, great job, Commander. You now have the know-how to work with your co-commander. As you can see, your co-commander can help you do some of the heavy lifting. Now get out there and knock some heads together. Go on, what are you waiting for? A fancy ending with a sappy montage? As for you, boys, the truce is off!
Finally, you jerks!
Shut up!
Ah, Commander. As you can see, our situation is shockingly grim. All our divisions are concentrated in Europe, pushing the Allies west. This empire knows very well that we're vulnerable right now. They will be expecting us to fall swiftly. At this very moment, their invasion force moves relentlessly towards Leningrad. I have chosen you to defend the USSR in this difficult hour because I need a commander who does not believe in defeat. Someone who will not simply drive our enemies back, but ultimately annihilate them, humiliate them, and show them no mercy. General Kirkov. Would you like to meet our new commander?
New commander?
Yes. We're sending him to protect Leningrad.
Even though I told you it was foolhardy to try and defend that city.
If Leningrad falls, the Soviet people will begin to lose hope.
Yes? Well, I wish him luck then. The Empire's technology is highly advanced, and he will likely be vastly outnumbered, but of course, it is an honor to sacrifice one's life for the motherland, is it not?
Indeed.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a nation to defend.
Comrade Dasha will be your information officer, and will coordinate all our communication.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Commander, the armies of the Empire are closing in as we speak.
Make haste, Commander. Time is of the essence.
We know little about the Empire's invasion force other than they are extremely mobile. They have surrounded Leningrad and are assaulting the city by way of the canals. Save our great metropolis. It is a symbol of the people's revolution. We've assigned the legendary sniper Natasha to your command. She will help you to help defend the city and eradicate the invading Imperial soldiers. Do svidaniya.
Leningrad is under siege. Repel the Imperial invaders and protect the fortress using our remaining forces in the vicinity. Natasha herself is available to assist in this dark hour. Your objectives are: secure the fortress in the heart of Leningrad. Once secure, more forces will be available. Good luck to you.
The Empire's blockade has kept us from getting onto the island. We're now attempting emergency landing operation. Use the surviving forces to secure the fortress.
Establishing battlefield control. Stand by. New objective received. Select Natasha. She excels against enemy infantry.
Good to be working with you again, Commander.
Natasha can call down an airstrike on the gates. Whenever you're ready. Natasha Volkova.
Surprise! Should I die, another shall arise. Time's up.
Objective complete.
Hey, comrade, it's Oleg. They made me your co-commander for this mission. Let's catch up if we live through this, yeah? Mine are the men in green uniforms. They only take orders from me, but hey, you can always boss me around if you want.
Natasha here.
New objective received. New construction options. Select your barracks and train 5 flak troopers to fight for you. Flak troopers are effective against air targets and vehicles.
Flak trooper doing my time.
That couldn't have been the last of them. What are those sneaky goats planning?
Flak trooper doing my time.
Enemy
Flak
units
trooper
detected.
doing my time.
Training.
What's it gonna
Objective
be?
complete.
Greetings from the Empire of the Rising Sun. I am Commander Kenji Tenzai, and it will be a great pleasure for me dismantling your cherished city today.
New objective received.
Flak trooper.
Attacks incoming from the south. My forces are on it.
Where on earth did they get this monstrous army? Hurrah!
A unit is under attack. Our ally is under attack.
Flak trooper
I'm with you,
doing my
comrade.
time. There's more coming. Get in there. Let's riot.
Whenever you're ready. Lights up. Point me in their direction.
So this is what they call community service.
New construction options. Train more conscripts to defend the fortress. Training.
Conscript training finished. Conscript training finished. Conscript training finished. We serve glorious Union. Huh? Me? Conscript training finished. Are you supposed to do something? Conscript training finished. I made Premier proud. Conscript training finished.
Around.
Angel.
Conscript training finished.
A unit is under attack.
Conscript training finished.
Objective complete.
Conscript training finished. Conscript training finished.
Do not be too pleased with yourself. The real attacks are only about to begin.
I don't know, those last attacks felt pretty real to me.
The Empire has begun assaulting the Hermitage Museum. It contains Russia's most precious historical treasures. Saving it will go a long way in giving our people hope at this dark hour.
New bonus objective received.
I got transport right here.
The Bullfrog can eject your infantry up to the Hermitage.
Okay, we're at the beacon.
Oh, so soon?
Natasha Volkova. Sweet dreams. I'll take it.
Bonus objective complete.
Next.
You saved the Hermitage. This will restore great hope for the people. But it is not yet time to celebrate, for if the fortress falls, it will all be for nothing.
I always find
Your troopers are needed back at the fortress. The Bullfrog transport may launch them across the canal. Funds transferred.
Whatever you say. Watch out for NTA. I got transport right here. Let me show you my nice threads. Here we go.
The fortress is under attack. The Empire's forces are approaching through the canals from all sides. The fortress must not fall, comrade.
Let's see how you fare with the Emperor's Shogun battleships.
Natasha Volkova.
Training.
Pointing that direction.
New objective
Black
received.
Trooper doing my time.
A unit is under attack.
My men will defend the fortress to the last. I'm gonna need you to take out those battleships.
Black Trooper doing my time.
Commander, we have transferred the last of Leningrad's treasury to you. Please spend it wisely.
I won't rust if I go for a dip.
Natasha can swim out into the canals in order to call in airstrikes against the battleships.
Black Trooper doing my time.
Badger Squadron on my mark.
Black Trooper doing my time. Black Trooper doing my time.
Line up, little children.
We have granted you access to our new weapon, the magnetic satellite. This powerful magnet in space can focus its attraction on a single metallic vehicle. Use it wisely.
Open the top secret protocols menu and choose the magnetic satellite. Magnetic satellite ready. The magnetic satellite is ready to use. Use it against the battleships. You may select and guide the magnetic satellite to affect more targets.
Many will...
Good job. Only a few more battleships left.
Insufficient funds. On hold. Cancelled. A unit
There's still
is
more
under
of them.
attack. Our ally is under attack.
I wasn't doing anything. I can do.
So this is what they call community service.
I made Premier proud.
Unit lost.
We serve glorious Union. I don't like this anymore. I made Premier proud. Show me what to do.
Always get what I want. Watch this.
Magnetic satellite ready.
Are you supposed to do something? Have we won yet?
Select target.
Natasha here. Anybody else?
This is just the beginning. Expect to see much more of me and the other Shogunate leaders.
Enemy units detected.
I hope they're more of a challenge than you.
The fortress still stands and Leningrad is safe. Excellent work. The Premier will surely be pleased. Very impressive, Commander. Clearly you are quite resourceful.
Yes. Too bad Leningrad was merely a diversion meant to pull our forces from where they were actually needed. Maybe next time your efforts will be of more use.
General, I've just been notified that the Imperial forces are moving towards Moscow. They are currently nearing our old satellite launch facility at Krasna 45.
Krasna 45. We might be able to use that facility against them. You see, Commander, while you were hiding behind the barricades in Leningrad, our enemy was thrusting deeply into the motherland's tender nether regions. It is time to show some backbone and take the fight to the enemy. Stop them before they get any closer to Moscow.